And by the way, yes, my last name is Hubbard, and people ask me if I'm related to L. Ron. The answer is no. In fact, I'm not even related to anybody named Hubbard. I have no bloodline to that name. My father does not know who his father is, and at one point he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So I might actually be a Greenblatt. Anyhow. And by the way, yes, my last name is Hubbard, and people ask me if I'm related to L. Ron. The answer is no. In fact, I'm not even related to anybody named Hubbard. I have no bloodline to that name. My father does not know who his father is, and at one point he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So I might actually be a Greenblatt. Anyhow. No bloodline to that name. My father does not know who his father is, and at one point he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So I might actually be a Greenblatt. Anyhow.
Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Call for an uprising here. Give me a break. Now, I know most of you who follow this channel, you've seen some of the exposed videos I've done on people that relentlessly harass, stalk, and obsess over me. And it makes absolutely no sense to me why any of these people continue to try to poke my buttons when every single time that this happens, I either humiliate or embarrass the person to the point that they lose many, many subscribers. And this will be no different today. Now, flat earthers and people out there I know who have been under attack, and specifically Christians from this guy, you might know him as Zachary Hubbard. Now you're probably saying, who? Exactly. Worth anyone's time or breath? Not really. But is this important to get this truth out about this Israeli intelligence agent? It sure is. So he's only getting a small amount of attention here, which is what he craves, because he is a sociopath with a small ego and what we call little pee-pee syndrome. But I ask you to get your popcorn ready. Sit back and relax. This might be a longer video, but you're going to want to listen to it in its entirety because Mr. Hubbard, who has a cult-like following here on YouTube somehow, some way, through deception, lies, and propaganda, and people who are very unintelligent that listen to his channel, mainly people who attack Christians, are going to find out that their hero, that their YouTube gematria fool that is Zachary Hubbard, isn't even really Zachary Hubbard. And in fact, he is a Khazarian Jew working for Israeli intelligence. And I'll show you from words out of his own mouth that prove to you that he's a lying Jew and that he is not a Christian. And as all of you know, the Zionist movement, this is all set up to destroy Christianity. And this guy is one of those guys that goes out of his way to attack Christians, to attack other truth channels, to attack people because he has alpha male syndrome, who are better than him in every single way imaginable, at every single thing possible, and make much better videos and don't sound like this when they talk. Now, before we get into exposing Mrs. Hubbard or Mr. Hubbard, whatever it is, an 80-pound grown man who sends cyber threats across the internet to people, who say things about people's family members, including my sister, about her death, because that's what kind of a piece of garbage this guy is, who says things about Jesus Christ and about how retarded Christians are and how Christians need to be wiped off the face of the earth and killed because we're killing society. Well, Mr. Hubbard, when your followers find out that you're really working for Israeli intelligence, and I know that's going to be hard for people to believe because they're going to say, intelligence? Zachary Hubbard? Same sentence? Can't be true. I know. But they do put on the role of being morons, which is why a lot of people, when you listen to his channel, he just lies and lies and lies and gets away with it, because he plays to a very dumbed down audience, an audience that anytime something happens in this world, instead of using critical thinking and research and evaluating stuff, he plugs names and numbers into his Jew calculator because he is a Jew, one that he has memorized in his head, and one he's indoctrinating people with because he's a follower of the Talmud and a follower of the Kabbalah. And one of the reasons Mr. Hubbard can't get my name out of his mouth is twofold. You'll see this very commonly here on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos claiming to expose me. The videos are just pretty much me talking, And then them going, look, he's not a Christian because he cursed or he yelled or something like that. All ridiculousness. This is really about alpha male syndrome and pride, which I talk about all the time with a lot of these YouTubers. But mainly they know by mentioning me in a video that they can get many, many views. As Mr. Hubbard did when he recorded a conversation or a show that I did and uploaded it. And it's one of his most viewed videos. Look at the garbage content he puts out every day. He can only get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views. But when you mention me, as you'll see on all these channels, their most viewed videos are ones talking about this channel. So they continually go out of their way to lure in people to their channel by mentioning this channel because they don't know how to make content on their own. Now, it's important for you to listen to this before I get into showing you that he's Israeli intelligence, showing you out of his own mouth that he is Jewish, showing you out of his own mouth that he is not who he claims to be, that his name isn't even Zachary Hubbard, and he's not related to anyone named Hubbard. It's not his bloodline. I just want to start with, a lot of you might be aware that we did a live show. I did one with New World Agenda, talking about Pizzagate, pretty much a vent session, just talking about people who continue to begin this domino effect. Hubbard was the guy who began the domino effect, covering up for the pedophiles. And you'll see that as I go through this video, that's what he does. He covers up for pedophiles. He covers up for pedophilia. He doesn't talk about it. All these events that have happened in America and worldwide that involves satanic sex trafficking of kids, he covers up for them. Why do you think? Because he is Jewish. But when Mr. Hubbard came on my show, he created this illusion on his channel for people who are completely delusional that believe in his garbage, that he was a guest on my show. He was not a guest on my show. My show was talking about channels who were pushing propaganda against Pizzagate because they had no research, but they had sick and tired of hearing people talk about it. And then what happened was when Mr. Hubbard created his videos, other people started copying what he said and were influenced by it. People who I used to consider friends of mine on YouTube, who are no longer friends of mine, who completely stabbed me in the back and sided with Zachary Hubbard, which I'll get into in more detail as well. But I want people out there to know that Mr. Hubbard was trolling the chat in the conversation that me and New World Agenda were having. He was trolling the chat, and I gave him an opportunity to come on the show live. I emailed Mr. Hubbard before he came on live, and I said there's no recording. That's the only rule. You cannot record when you come on my show. The reason I don't let people record because it's my show, it's my content, and I'm especially shills like him, frauds like him, I'm not going to allow them to record my show and then get views off of it because that's what they do, and that's exactly what he did despite me telling him he could not. And that's exactly what scumbags do. So Mr. Hubbard came on the show, and he was mocked and he was ridiculed for defending pedophiles, for not answering any questions, for not knowing what McMartin was, or not knowing what the Franklin cover-up was, even though the next day he had solved the McMartin case. Many of you have spent years and years researching it. The next day he plugged some numbers in McMartin into his calculator and said that was a fraud and a hoax too. No investigative work, because he doesn't do any investigative work. He does nothing except plug things into his calculator. So we're going to plug his information into the calculator as well, and you'll see for yourself what a fraud this guy is. But I just want people to know that he was not allowed to record the conversation. He was told he's not allowed to record it, and he recorded it because he's a little lying scumbag. So he recorded it, and then what he did is he was so mad at the end of the show because he was so embarrassed and humiliated, he uploaded it, and he told everybody on his channel, oh, I've won this debate, and I've ran a call for an uprising off YouTube, when everybody knew I was taking a break, and I don't have to prove anything. Yeah, Mr. Hubbard, I was so upset when I was mocking you, making fun of you, and you cried, cursed everyone off, and ran off the air like a toddler because you couldn't get a point across, because you couldn't answer a single question. You should be so flattered to think that you could run me off YouTube. Mr. Hubbard, you're an 80-pound little boy. You look like a little elf troll, okay? Let's make it perfectly clear. Anything between me and you will be like Brock Lesnar fighting Steve Urkel, okay? You can't beat me in a debate. You can't argue against me. Your channel is awful. Your debates are awful. And all the things you promote are a joke. The next day, of course, Mr. Hubbard sent a bunch of dirty, filthy messages over to me, only to do a video on that. What he did was he showed emails that I sent to him, but didn't show what he wrote to me. Because he's a little scumbag, and that's what little girls do. So people went, oh, I can't believe a call for an uprising said that. Well, if you saw what he said to me, and you saw how he mocked, and he said, I'm uploading the video anyway, enjoy it on my channel, even though I told him he couldn't. So this is all little childish stuff. But this is something I wanted people to know, because I'm sick of people saying, that was really mean of how you treated him. It's my show. It's my channel. I'm not going to have somebody on my show who trolls in the channel, who's bugging people in the chat room, come on my channel and then promote and defend pedophiles. Just not going to happen. And unlike Hubbard, what you see is what you get with me. I talk like this in my videos. I talk like this in my live shows. I yell. I raise my voice. All of you who listen to this channel know that I'm the real deal. There's no acting here. I don't put on a facade and play the role of kind, oh, Christian, kumbaya. This is what Hubbard wants Christians to do. That's why people like him try to bring down other Christians. Because Christians with a backbone can destroy him, just like what was done to him that day. And he hasn't been able to get over it. He hasn't been able to get over it. He actually re-uploaded the video yesterday, which was really an answer to a prayer, because I was waiting and holding this information back, because I didn't really want to bother my subscribers with it. But I know that this video needs to be made, and it needs to sit at the top of the list of exposed videos, especially at the top of the list anytime somebody searches Zach Hubbard. That's why I ask people out there with channels to mirror this video. As you'll see the information come out right now, mirror this video. I will not copyright strike you. Mirror it. You can even put ads in it and make money off of it if you want. But get it out there, especially bigger channels. Everybody needs to see this and stay away from this guy. Now, I've said that he's Jewish intelligence. He's Israeli intelligence. You might say, how do you know he's Jewish? Well, let's start with him exposing himself, talking about his last name in gematria. Since everything is gematria and everything revolves around gematria, as Zach says, every single thing is fixed. Every single thing is a hoax, except when it comes to him. His last name, as he'll tell you right here, listen for yourself, with the 322 in his last name, 322 skull and bones. What a coincidence. Tell us, Zach, for yourself.
Hubbard, when you break each part down to a single digit, which is appropriate in numerology, his name becomes 322, or like March 22nd, which was the publishing date of the Bible. Also notice the name Hubbard in the lettering down below with the star right here. It has this 322 coded into the letter sequence. Isn't that interesting? Not a lot of names have that.
But wait, there's more. Hubbard, Zachary Hubbard. If you put the name Zachary K. Hubbard in Gematria Calculator, what do you get? You get skull and bones as well. So not only is the 322, as Zach points out himself as he exposes himself in his own videos, and as most of you know, these Satanists do show you the truth and expose themselves. It's just sad that people who listen to his channel can't even see through it because they're not smart enough to. They're not. And I know some of you who listen to my channel sub to him. Well, if you're Christian and you listen to his channel, you are probably extremely lukewarm. Because if you don't have a problem with what he says about Jesus Christ and Christians, you need to pick up a Bible. Because this guy is a total scumbag. But wait, so you're saying, okay, his last name, 322, skull and bones. Okay, well, that's how he operates with his gematria. But wait, are you saying his name's not really Hubbard? Is he related to L. Ron Hubbard? Well, he'll tell you right here what his real last name is. Listen for yourself.
And by the way, yes, my last name is Hubbard, and people ask me if I'm related to L. Ron. The answer is no. In fact, I'm not even related to anybody named Hubbard. I have no bloodline to that name. My father does not know who his father is. And at one point he heard his father might be named Greenblatt, which is a Jewish last name. So I might actually be a Greenblatt. Anyhow.
Well, what do you know? Hold on, I got to sneeze. 1 second. Achoo! Achoo! Excuse me. I'm getting the sniffles. It's cold weather where I am. How about that? He's really Zachary Greenblatt. Zachary Greenblatt. Not Zachary Hubbard. Greenblatt. Now you might say, well, what does that matter? His name's Greenblatt. If you look up Greenblatt, oh my goodness, look who happens to be the chairman of NBC Entertainment, Robert Greenblatt. The chairman of NBC Entertainment. Must be a coincidence, right? Zach's not making any money through YouTube. All he does is make videos every day. Everybody who does this knows how long it takes to make content. He makes 4 or 5. He might make more content than most people make in a month, in a week, or even a day sometimes. He makes 4 to 5 a day, but he has no income. And Robert Greenblatt, the chairman of NBC Zionism Entertainment. Wow, must be a coincidence, right? If you listen to my channel or anyone else's in this community, there's no such thing as coincidences, right? Zach, sir, doesn't believe in it. So, Zach, is this a coincidence that Robert Greenblatt is the chairman of NBC Entertainment? You, with your channel, don't monetize, so nobody knows how you're a homeowner or how you have income, especially when you claim the guy across the street robbed your house. I gotta ask, what kind of a man lets another man rob his house and then get away with it? This is a guy you want to have as your leader? A pansy, a guy who lets someone rob his house and does nothing about it, but then on YouTube comments says he'll kill people and put them 6 feet under. That's a complete joke. This guy is not a man. This guy, I don't even know if he could be a transgender. I don't know what he is, but he's not a man, and he shouldn't be calling himself one. Letting a guy rob his home. He claims